Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean online radio. We are back at it again, folks. We've been in hiatus, if I can put it that way, for about a month now, if I'm right. But hey, here we are. Even though some of us have been under the weather, but God's so good. We are recuperating, and here we are once again on the altar of entertainment. My God, thank God we are at it again. In Toronto, it's plus 28 degrees Celsius. And the time right now at our disposal is 6 minutes past 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from Algeria to Zimbabwe, from anywhere in North America, South America, the Middle East. And no, you are hooked up with us. Today we have a very special show with you. CAMIDOH, he is a young producer, a singer-songwriter, a performer. He'll be joining us momentarily. We are doing everything we have at our disposal once again to, connect with him in Ghana. Hey, Ron, how are you doing?
Hey, TYB, I'm doing wonderful. We do not have on the west coast of Canada the weather, well, some places like where I live on Vancouver Island do not have the weather that you have of 28 degrees. That is hot. We're sitting at about maybe 20. So the weather here has been just wonderful. It's perfect for me who loves to ride my bike. Spent some time in a place recently on the southern end of Vancouver Island, and it was cooking hot. So it was uncomfortable to ride in. So I much prefer home. There's no place like home, they say. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
The last time you were with us, you were in some, I was worried about you because of, around Vancouver and all those areas, we have some grizzly bears, and you were camping. So you know what? Wow. Thank God you are alive. You don't have any scratches. So we are happy to be back at it again. Hey, Petra, how you doing?
Yeah, you have lots of honey with you, Ron, to sweeten up the bears in case.
No, my honey is my wife.
That's your honey. You're not sharing.
Yeah, by the way, Petra, your hair looks just fabulous.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have to definitely credit, after you said I've got to credit my hairstylist, Empress J Hairstyles. If you're in Toronto and you have natural hair, locks, extensions, anything, link Empress J Hairstyles on Instagram. Phenomenal. But my week, TYB, thank you for asking. My week's been great, My week's been fun, just taking it day by day, just came from the gym, I had so much fun last week at the Youth Summit. The Youth Summit was so wonderful.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Oh, yes, Ron. It was a pleasant Youth Summit, and it was one of our best. This is the third year that we did it, and it was a blast. And I thank the sponsors and everybody out there who came to support us. You know what? It was a youth summit, Petra. It was a youth summit that we have been doing, and we go out there and solicit funds to help students within the community and beyond to give scholarships, financial assistance. It's not a lot, but the tokenism is all great. And there was so many of these students were so happy. We had 4 of them, and what we are figuring out is that next year we should be able to get about 10 students scholarships for them. And it was an amazing event. All the speakers were great, amazing speakers. Every one of them was great. And there were some great dancers out there, young men and women who had formed a group. Everything around was so good because you know what? We brought out the generations, seniors and the millennials. And I was so happy to have seen them interact and then do everything that they had to do. So yes, thanks for reminding me. I was going to say that again, but thanks for coming, those of you who came in. And then we are happy that we are back at it again. Yeah.
Most definitely. Thank you for sharing that.
Can I ask, are the scholarships for university students going off to university? That's usually what I hear scholarships for. Is that who they were for?
Yeah, they were for university students, college and university students, and the criteria was that you may have volunteered as part of your essay that you submitted to us, volunteerism, and as well as you know what, if you're able to convince the judges and stuff like that, and then you know they like it, yes, and then we issued checks on behalf of so many of them. Tony Profit, yeah, Tony Profit, Academic Excellence, Bella Beauty, the Warwin family from Bay Street in Toronto. There's so many of them, and a lot of sponsors have seen what we are doing. So we are still getting donations, and we are still expanding what we can do for the students. And there was some international students from the Philippines, and her story touched everybody out there. So she got it, and you know what? It was a great sight to. I mean, I had all praises to God for the event, and we hope to expand it and then make it even better. We had the two sportsmen, the Hall of Fame cricketer and the host of the England Roger Sports. They were there. They donated a signed, especially Engel is a Hall of Famer cricketer. He donated a bat.
Oh, you seen that? I seen the bat there, yeah.
You know, signed for it. He says, "Man, let's auction it off."
Aww.
So that we can help some people. So we are going to have a special show where we are going to auction off that bat. You know, I know that bat is old. It carries some weight. So we are going to
it reminds me of England, that bat.
That's right. That's right. It was a great sight. Maybe next year you will be able to come around and present some of the scholarships to the deserving students.
Yeah, it's nice when students get it, because university today is getting, well, like always, it just goes up and up and up in price. So it's really fortunate going to university with scholarships. I know I was fortunate to get them, and they really helped. It's just it's nice when you get them, and you should. I hope they show a lot of gratitude, because that's just a really nice helper along the difficult road to university.
Yeah. One criteria is that the money goes straight to the school. We don't hand it over to the student. Yeah, goes straight to the school, the student account. And that's right. You have to be in school for us to be able to give it to you. So it was a signed contract as part of the whole deal. You had to sign it, and it goes straight. Over the past couple of years, yes, it goes straight to the school. Don't hand it over there, because we want them to stay in school and not to, have the money in their pockets and then just go and blow it. Yes, so that was the criteria. So
goes towards tuition. Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or books, I guess, too.
Yes. And last year, one thing that still on that topic, last year we had a student also from Canada who was in a university in the United States, and we did it. We paid the tuition. We also paid the residency and all those kind of stuff. And the landlord was so gracious. He said, "You know what? Thank God you are doing this. So I'm going to give the students free 1 year, rent free."
Oh, wow. Fantastic. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. Because you know what? We run this station out of pocket, no funding out there. So whatever we can do to help students, because education is number one. We have a teacher on this show right now. So, I
wonder who that could be.
I think let me scratch many more. So I think it's it was really fun, and I'm glad that we are back at it again. Today we have a special show with CAMIDOH, one of Africa's best, a young man, and I'm so happy. One thing about it all is that I'm so happy that hitherto African music wasn't there. And with the advent of Afrobeat music. And I think maybe we can discuss this as to how and why you think Afrobeat music or music in general, you know, has come to this stage where as soon as you record, it's right out there with the proper management, proper publicity and stuff like that. I don't know what has come up with it. Could it be social media, Ron?
You're asking now what is the problem with it or what? I'm not sure what your question is.
What has propelled it so that, like, if somebody lives in some little city in South America or Africa or the Caribbean, they can come out with some music and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
No, as opposed to back in the day, payola, which you don't do here, you have to pay DJs to pay for it. But right now, it's not like that. Do you think social media has played a part of it? Because you have been able to link up with C. Johnny O.T., For Sale, and the others, what do you think has propelled this to this level?
Well, that's an easy question because I heard a fellow just this week talking about that, saying that the nice thing, there's some goods and there's bads. The good thing is that social media today is allowing people to put out material like they would never have been able to do before in the past, so that they can put it on, all these other places to play music. So whether it's Spotify, whether it's on YouTube or wherever it may be, up to which before, when I was growing up as a kid, here shows dating myself, those were never around. So it was always a contract. You were looking to get signed. You were hoping to be in a band and have great songs and hopefully get them signed, yourself signed one day. That was what it was in the past. Today, that's turned around a lot. So social media undoubtedly has some goods to it. The unfortunate thing, I don't know if this is bad or not, but we're almost oversaturated at times, and I don't always know where to go to get what I'm looking for. I mean, I do. I know what I want, but it's just so much out there, which is good in many respects. I mean, there's something for everyone. However, it's flooded, I would say, really, really flooded. Is that bad or good? I couldn't tell you. I just think that it's nice that somebody like myself can connect up with others like we're doing today, which we weren't able to do in the past. So completely different from when I was growing up. Petra, I'd like to hear your side on this too.
Sorry. I was watching you on screen. I just see myself munching. Sorry. After the gym. Honestly,
yeah, go for it. Yes.
Honestly, TYB.
Yes,
very interesting question. And thank you, Ron, for saying you want to hear my opinion, because I see from many angles, right? I mean, I think it's really great that a lot more artists are getting more exposure and there's a lot more opportunities for artists. I think that's really, really phenomenal, right? And the fact that every artist, I feel like I agree with you, TYB, like a lot of artists nowadays, they come out ready packaged. You know what I'm saying? Ready packaged with the manager, publicist, like they have the look, they have everything. And it's like, the fans don't really know you yet. Now they're going to start to get to know you, right? So I see from two angles, right? So yeah, I think it's great. I want to go to the other side first, start with the other side and then backtrack, right? I mean, I think it's great, but I feel sometimes that a lot of artist development is missed out in that time period. Like, I feel like artists need to go through that, where they do their own thing and then they find a man. I think there needs to be stages to the development into making a great artist. And I feel like when some of these artists come out ready packaged and ready made, it's like some of them get the term industry plant or industry artist or whatever, because it's like they haven't gone through the trenches, versus where there's some of these artists that have been doing that thing for a while. And then after they get their break, and I feel like when you approach those kind of artists that are a bit more seasoned, like from the songs that they make to their mindset, and how they come across is very different. Not to say one is better than the other. I just feel it to be very, very different, And it's like I've been an independent artist, and I was signed to labels, no majors, but to independent artists. I mean, to independent labels. And I mean, I know, you know, when I was signed to my label, they arranged all the photo shoots and like my shows, like everything was, certain things were done and it made it easier, you know. But I found it a lot more rewarding after leaving my label and then going off on my journey to find out who I am as an artist. You know what I'm saying? And I can honestly say I didn't find my sound, my authentic sound, until I left. Because at that label at the time, it's like I was a reggae artist and they had more R&B and more hip hop artists on their roster, right? So they didn't know how to manage a reggae artist. So I still felt like I was independent, but I did get some help. So I do have to big up Kryptonic Records, big up King Q, the whole crew. You know what I'm saying? Kryptonic was there for me, you know? However, at the same time, it's like I left Kryptonic because I felt like I wasn't, you know, like I wasn't, my voice and my sound weren't being developed. So after leaving that setting and going out and venturing on my own and going to Jamaica and doing music, I found myself. And then I went through that development stage. So now I can stand out point where, like, you know, if I do sign to a label or whatever I do music wise, I know myself, I've developed myself. And I feel like sometimes when these artists come out, they want their break so bad that they'll be whatever you want them to be. Okay, I'll sing that song, I'll wear those clothes, I'll say these things because they want the benefits of being a successful artist. And I feel like without going through the trials and the tribulations and like the development that's going to really hone you into being worthy of that. And I feel like growing up as a child, you know, I guess maybe because the industry wasn't so widespread, we didn't have social media. I grew up with the Michael Jacksons and like I grew up with the greats, you know, but those people became great because of their journey, you know. A lot of them didn't just come on the scene and like a lot of these artists of today, like it was developed, you know. And I feel like when I see those type of artists, I'm not saying all of them, but for me, I feel like you need to be a bit more processed, you know. And I feel that's why a lot of artists' careers are short-lived nowadays, you know. Now you see them, now you don't, you know. Like, can we have artists that will withstand the time? Can they be around for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you know? So that's that side. But then going back to the positive side, again, I love the fact that it's so much easier now to come out as an artist, you know. And it's good that artists have the knowledge to know that, you know, when you come out, you need to have everything in place, like a manager, like a publicist, have your image together, because now they're carrying it and conducting themselves as businesses. Because as an independent artist, you're not just an artist, you're a walking, talking enterprise. You're a product, you know what I'm saying? Providing a service. So it's great that they're also come put together and have the know-how. But I feel like that's why I feel the conundrum is in the music business, because it's like music, to be a great artist, it takes time, but at the same time, it's like you need to know the business and know how to, once you have that process, once you have that developed, to get it out to market. But I feel so much pressure is put on the artist nowadays to be everything, you know, to have everything put together, because labels don't want to spend the time and the money developing the artist. So now that all comes onto the artist. So they have to become this now.
Yeah. On my side, too, I think social media has played a very great role in artist development right now, because the big boys back then, if you take Motown and all the others, how you dress off stage, how you comport yourself and stuff like that was there, was written in the contract. But today it's a different thing. You just you just record anywhere, which I love, because there's a lot more independent artists than artists who have signed contracts. And most of the contracts, some of the young artists, for instance, do not consult with lawyers, entertainment lawyers, to be able to read what is on there and stuff like that. So once they put something out there and it's a hit among their fans, they say, oh, that's it. They say, I've made it. But there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. And sometimes you hear them, they are there, they are hot, and then you never hear from them again, because there's a glut in the system. So if you are coming out, it better be good. If it's not good, you're not going to be recognized. But then the floodgates is opened. My next question is, you were referring to Michael Jackson and all the greats. Do you think also to you, Ron. Do you think back in the day, if they became big without social media, how do you assess them if they had social media behind them right now? Michael Jackson, Prince, and all this. How would you envisage them using that social media platform to be able to be big? Do you think they would have been bigger than big right now, or they would have ridden the same, wave with what we have today? Either of you can respond to that.
You know, isn't that a question we will never know, with Prince being, not here with us, and Michael Jackson not being here with us right now. However, I guess I'm a true believer that the best artists will always shine, always. But as Petra, you have mentioned, development is the key. I see young people coming out, and this doesn't mean that young people can't produce great music. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's just that they have not had a lot of experience that you see, say, the Michael Jacksons, who was doing it since he was 4 or 5 years old. And then he's, it developed over years and years and years to become the musician he is. Same thing with the likes of Stevie Wonder. He grew up his whole life on music. So, and that's not saying other people haven't. However, I don't know if I sometimes question whether what we're producing today is still as good as what we used to produce. And I say that because of a couple of things that I understand about, for instance, DAWs and digital recording, is that the human feel, to me, is sort of getting lost a bit. Like, for instance, before, I remember so many times putting a metronome to my favorite song, so I knew what tempo it is. And I could never find the proper tempo because the drummer wasn't playing absolutely perfect. Well, in 99.9% of all songs today, I put a metronome on and it'll click and go perfectly in time with the song all the way through. So I question as to whether we are losing some of our human feel to music sometimes. That's just me thinking about it in terms of how I look at it. I hear just not the same. I'm going to say, maybe this is age. Maybe, people are just going to say, but I just hear the feeling. I just don't feel what I used to feel about music in terms of groove and feel to it. I'm just I don't know. That's me. And I'm not trying to be sour about it because there are so many fabulous, great artists out there. However, I've often seen too many one-hit wonders, and that are just, and they've been all over the place for years and years, every single time. But development has been the tough one. I see it. Petra, I agree with you on this. It's the development of artists. I just see it as from a young age to throughout their life. But I don't know. I see people that have learned how to use a computer in 3 years and they're recording songs.
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to kind of follow on from what you're saying before I answer the question. But yeah, I think, like you said, music is becoming less human and more like digital, more automated. They have it now where AI could just copy your voice, make the beat. Like, they don't even need people anymore for music. And to me, that's kind of a crazy, sad, and a scary thing to me. We're already in a time where they don't need people for music anymore. And the thing is, it's like we're in a time where the consumer will still eat it up. The consumer will still support it. But it's like, it's lacking that consciousness, I think so many people are just so distracted, you know what I mean? But just to kind of go back to your point in relation to the greats being on social media, just like Ron said, the greats will always be the greats. And I feel like if the Michael Jacksons and the Whitney Houstons and the Tupacs and the Bob Marley were still around on social media, I think honestly, if they're around, a lot of these artists wouldn't even stand a chance, to be honest, because like you said, those artists, they've been refined over time. So how can you compare an artist refined over time versus artists that have been just put in right now, you know what I'm saying, that only have short lifespans? And it's really sad because I feel like they've made the music industry into like a McDonald's type, Henry Ford automated, like, in and out. system, you know?
Yeah.
Because these people care more about making money. They don't care about the magic of music, how music touches and moves people and heals people, you know? Even to I think they changed like the music. What is the music standard right now, Ron, for music? I know that they changed like the hertz for the music.
Oh, you mean in terms of volume, or
I think they changed the frequency to like 440 hertz from like 432 hertz. It was changed to whatever it is now. I think it's 440 hertz.
It's generally been a standard. It's A440 is the frequency. Sometimes they will bring it down because they want the song slightly a bit out of key or out of tune. So there's different. That's referring to more the tuning of the song. Sometimes they speed it up. I've heard bands where they've sped up the tape or slowed it down, different hertz amounts, just to make it for their voice, if nothing else. They didn't want to change it to what's called a whole semitone difference. So they changed it a slight bit. It's just called a tiny bit. And you're kind of going, I'm trying to think, oh, I got to tune my guitar up here because it's just not quite in tune. And you're going all up. Oh, there we are. That's not totally an A. That's not totally a B flat. That's somewhere in between. That's been done for years, though.
I'm saying the fact they changed the frequency of music. It's like I feel like music has an agenda nowadays, where I feel like originally music was more to bring people together, you know? I think music is used more of a tool to divide, you know? And I think we are in a time right now that with social media, we can use it as a tool to bring people together musically, or it can divide, you know what I'm saying? So back to your question, I really feel like if the Greats were around right now, half the stuff that we listening to, we won't listen to, and they would totally utilize that platform to its potential. More and more people will be exposed to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ron said something that resonates with me. You know, like music is now losing its feel, that human touch right now. It's like it's computerized and stuff like that. And everything is like when I'm in the studio, I use the maximum human. Everything is human backed. I believe in that because you see, my whole concept, my whole thing is that if we continue to go the computerized kind of ways, we are going to lose artists. We are going to lose, instrumentalists. People are spending a lot of money going to music schools and all those kind of stuff, and they are learning from left, right, and center. Then you go into the studio, and then all you see is guitar work, is on the keyboard and all those kind of stuff. And to crown it off, we've discussed this before. For live performance, what do we see? A playback. A playback.
Yeah.
A playback. I will never go on stage to have a playback. I've already said it unapologetically, because I want to be able to feel my friend out there playing the wrong note, right? That makes you human. The wrong note, yes. I quite remember when they had these electric circuits. It was a program where live performances on every Saturday on CP24 in Toronto, and we performed at the Montreal Jazz Festival. So from there we came straight, and then we were performing. It was live, and all that we saw, we were just having fun. The bass guitar player lost 2 strings as we were doing it live.
Not 1, but 2.
2.
That's very rare.
That's right. Common. Yeah, and we are all looking at each other. So we have been playing together for over 15 years. So we knew exactly what we had to do. So we went straight into percussion break, and we started singing and stuff like that. And then we just faded out. We faded out, and then we had to resort to doing it. So that makes you human, that you can make mistakes. And I love it when I'm performing live and I hear my friend making a mistake, or me singing out of key, or making a mistake, all of those kind of that is fun. And after everything, you go out there and tease yourself, which we were doing. Oh man, you played the wrong notes. We all start to laugh and stuff like that. So things shouldn't be like, it's got to be correct, plain, simple, right there. And then I agree with you, Ron. So there's still my question. I still don't have the answer to the question that I asked to the this saying that would these guys have been bigger than big using social media? Because you see, back in the day, there was no social media, but they were playing to packed stadiums. Did they do that?
Yeah. Well, that's where you made your money.
Yes.
Well, I just want to say one thing. Also, we have to think about the time too, right? Because again, there was no social media back then. And I feel like people also didn't have that many options. You know, I feel the music industry is very regulated. So it's like, if you didn't make this cut, then it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not in the loop. Where I feel like now with social media, it's opened up so many doors for so many artists, so many independent artists to make money versus a lot of it going to the majors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's one observation.
Yeah, you know, the thing I see is from what you're saying, I bet you too, is that in my time too, man, I'm dating myself, is that I'm so used to having to be performing as a musician all the time because that's how you made your money. That's I mean, that was just how it worked. I mean, if you got a contract, that was an added bonus to the whole story. However, you needed to develop yourself as a musician. And this is what I'm not seeing enough of yet today that we were seeing in the Michael Jacksons, and I'll refer to them, and the Princes, is that they developed as people and as musicians.
Yeah.
And that
We're
development
on the journey with them.
Yeah.
Now it becomes ready-made. Like, I have a ready-made artist. I don't know where you came from. I don't know anything about. I didn't watch you, and that's how people connect to you. Like, we connect to Michael because we saw Michael from he was 4 years old. Up until he was a big man. We grew with Michael. That's why we loved Michael. We grew with Madonna. We grew with Stevie Wonder. We grew with the greats. With these,
we did. We did. Yes, we did. But at the same time, too, the whole face has changed. By the way, we have our special guest in the house. Oh, yes.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
We're doing so great.
Blessings.
It's great to have you on the program. HWY to Africa, folks. You're listening to Love the Afrobeat Music Talk Radio from Nigeria to Zimbabwe. This is the program that we've been clamoring for. And our special guest is right in the house. It's my brother, my younger brother, I would say. You know what? From the same continent, country. And I think he's my younger brother. How are you doing, CAMIDOH?
I'm blessed and highly favored, man. How are you guys doing?
We are doing awesome.
Fantastic.
Great. Yes, great.
Yes. That's what we love to hear. Man.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. We are so glad to have you join us. And we thank Richard in for doing this connection. And as a Ghanaian, as an artist, I'm so proud of what you guys have been doing. The baton, we've handed the baton to you guys, and you are running with it. Yes, I don't know, you're doing great. We are proud of you, and all the young artists out there that are, changing the face of African music. We thank you for what you're doing. But then we have a conversation to have with you because your fans are out there. Everybody has been waiting for you. So, you know what? Without much ado, as I always do, Petra, the floor is yours for you to shoot the first. I will use the B word, the first question.
Sounds good. Thank you, TYB. CAMIDOH, it's a pleasure to have you on HWY to Africa.
Yeah, man. It's an honor. It's an honor to be here. Yeah.
Wonderful. So I always like to ask my signature question as well. Can you just share with the listeners who is CAMIDOH?
CAMIDOH is an Afro-pop R&B artist, producer, songwriter, literally fits in everything music. CAMIDOH is like really 100% over there. And been doing started making music in 2008 in a group called Bells in high school. And somewhere 2017 December, we disbanded. The group got disbanded, and I began my solo career from 2018 December. Yeah, put out my first single on December 20th. Yeah, 2018, and ever since I haven't looked back. Yeah. And also I always look to basically like blend, draw inspiration from like all angles and shoot with the music.
Okay, sounds perfect. Thank you for sharing that. And then I want to ask you, like, why music? Like, what was it about music that made you want to get into it from an artist and also a production standpoint?
Yeah, that's really like one of the special questions I love to answer, because
Nice.
I truly did not have an ambition to become a musician from the beginning.
Wow.
I wanted to be a pilot, and I was so heavy on that.
Wow.
Yeah. I was so heavy on becoming a pilot, and until I chanced on Akon's music, and I got inspired so heavily. I decided to like switch and say, musician, I don't want to be a pilot. I guess at that time it was more so I was like, because the inspiration I drew from the music or from Akon, I felt like, okay, this was something I could do with ease, right? But a pilot, I had to go by the book, I had to study and all of that, and I wasn't really ready to do that. I just wanted to go with like my flow, So yeah, truly, Akon inspired me to become like a musician. Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, TYB.
Yeah. You know what? I wanted to be a pilot myself. I don't know what is with being a pilot. Wow. And here I am, an artist, a musician. I don't know what is in there.
Yeah.
For the young listeners out there, always think about the fact that you would like to be a pilot. Maybe you become an artist, because I don't know what is in there. Yeah, it's great to have you right now. Ron, follow-up question if you have. Go ahead.
Sure. CAMIDOH, welcome. Question I have is, who are some of your biggest influences? In other words, who makes you who you are? And if you had a chance to sit down and just listen to music that you love, other than perhaps your own, who do you listen to, and who have you listened to?
I'll start by saying that I discovered that I'm a very versatile artist from the early stages of this journey. And so basically, I really and truly do not have like limited inspirations. I began drawing inspiration from Akon, drew inspiration from Sarkodie, because I rap as well.
Nice.
Like Sarkodie, Chris Brown, literally anybody, like even while I'm still on the journey, anybody I chance on who's doing something really spectacular or like really beautiful, I try to tap in and see what I can what inspiration I can draw from there. So I kind of like have very limitless scope of drawing inspiration. There was a time where I was listening closely to Stonebwoy from Ghana, Sarkodie. There was a time where Rema came, and I was just listening to Rema, like, okay, how did he even get this whole idea of this sound? So listening to him as well. It's just like making sure I do not allow the whole competitive nature of the game to stop me from being inspired from other people. Do you know what I'm saying? I literally just open up myself to every artist. So the major influences, which is what I've mentioned, like Chris Brown, Akon, Sarkodie, Stonebwoy, King Mensa, who is a legendary musician from Togo, so far, I'll say that. Yeah.
So can I ask, what separates you from them? What makes you have your own sound that's different? So when people turn it on, they're going to know, hey, that's CAMIDOH. So what makes your sound so much different from them then? Or what is different about it for you?
Myself, from a fan's point of view, viewing myself as in being a fan and viewing CAMIDOH or listening to CAMIDOH, one of the peculiar things I found about his sound is that he's very I don't know how to describe it, but basically he's very emotionally in tune with the music. So it's like when you're listening to Camidoh's record, you can really feel the soul in the record. You can really feel like emotions attached to the record. And I believe I have a very like unique voice, so the kind of things I do with my voice, it comes along with emotions. So when you're listening, you're definitely going to know that, this is Camidoh. Even if there's another voice like resembling Camidoh, or one thing that you're going to like use as distinctive feature is the fact that the emotions are always attached to the voice, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, TYB.
Wow. Folks, we are in conversation with the great CAMIDOH. Love the Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean online radio, plus 27 degrees Celsius. We are in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, where it's all happening. Very beautiful day with a very beautiful.
I can't wait to come to Canada when it is your summertime, because I hear
summertime. It is summertime, brother. It is
crazy.
summertime. We'll be waiting for you.
There's so much events, festivals. This is a great time.
Yes, as a matter of fact, the African Music Festival, one of the largest in North America, was last week. Yes, it attracts about 500,000 visitors. It's in the almost the 40th year, and I'm so happy to say that when it started at first, I was one of the first artists to open for Hugh Masakela and the others, Sonia Day and all those guys. And after that, I branched off, and the rest is history. And here we are, chatting and having this conversation. How did it all begin? How did it all begin? Your musical career. How did it all begin?
So basically, I'm very close with this family friend of mine. He's now a doctor, Dr. Anka, and we were so close that when I was younger, he was older than me. Obviously, he's older than me. So when he was, and he's a book shark as well. So when he's going to like extra classes and all of that, I'll follow him. So one time he had to like go and do some assignment on the internet, so he had to go to the internet cafe, and I went with him because I'm always with him, and then he was like, okay, since I'm doing nothing, he was gonna like get me some time and then play me Akon, right, play me some music while I watch YouTube while he does like that on another workstation. And so in the process of that, I really got attached to Akon, and then I went back home and I started to like I downloaded this, there was a way to download on this little MP3.
Oh, yes.
Thingy. So I downloaded a bunch of his stuff. And normally this is how you do it. You go back to the internet cafe and download, and then now stick it in as the USB drive and copy everything onto it. So I had a bunch of Akon records that I was listening to at that time. And when I wake up in the morning, I would try to like mimic Akon, like try to sing as though, that kind of thing. And that's just how the passion kept growing and growing. So in 2008, I went to high school, and then I met a colleague during, the freshest night. Basically, we all have to come and show our talents and all of that.
Yeah.
So during entertainment, I went to perform, and then I saw him also perform. So after everything, I went back to his dormitory. I was like, bro, I think you're dope, connected. And so after every like preps or maybe after classes, I would, visit his dormitory, and then we would just hit the desk or hit the chalkboard and make some music.
Yeah.
And everything kind of like began. And we realized that every time we were making some freestyles and all of that, people will now start to like coming, a lot into the dormitory just to like, oh, who are these guys? Oh, I wanted. So like every time, so it happened after every class session, and then it's like, so we got back home on vacation, and luckily he stayed in the same town as me. So then he called me one time and said, well, so me and my boys are going to record a song, but obviously we have to contribute money to go to make up the full amount to record. Do you want to be a part of it, so you can bring 20 CDs and then we'll add to the money, and then you also now get the opportunity of like laying a verse on the song.
Was that a lot of money at the time?
100 CDs. It was basically 100 CDs, which is like $10.
Okay.
Yeah, so we did that, and we all went to the studio, and then so we're about 4 boys, me, Katie, DG, and Breezy. Like we're 4 boys, and we went to the studio, made a record, and that's just how the group began. And then we just assumed that we became a group, and like it took off from there. Yeah.
Awesome. So you were, I guess you were the songwriter at the time.
The thing is, we all were writing songs. So KD will start. So basically, it depends on who starts a particular song. If you begin a song, then you will write, do the chorus, and then the other people will now do verses, right? But if I was writing, then I would do the same thing, and then everyone else would do verses. So basically, we were all just like trying from nowhere, no like voice training, no education, and yeah, that's just how.
So how did you know which song to like to select to record? Was it
so we just had to do a freestyle. We just had to like be together and do a freestyle, and then if we thought it was dope, we just contribute money and go to the studio and record. Yeah.
And so do you regret that? How much was it? Is it 100 CDs?
Yes, it was 100 CDs per session. So we have to contribute money and go do it.
And it's paid off.
Yes. Yeah.
Really.
Yes, Petra. Good.
Yeah, most definitely. It's so beautiful that you spoke about that, right? Because prior to you coming on, we're speaking about different things in relation to the industry, and we're talking about the artist development, like the journey, you know. And it's the journey that makes you, because once you reach certain heights in your career, you can look back at the moments where you guys had to gather the money together, you know, for the studio time. And like, I remember being a kid too, because I'm an artist as well, right? I remember being in the playground in England, because I'm from England and I do reggae. So we'd like beatbox on the like concrete or on like the grill, and we sing our songs, and that sparked something, you know. But you don't forget those, because those are part of your development journey to becoming a great artist.
Yeah. That is so beautiful. Like looking back, I have so many beautiful memories that I feel like, you know, I just wish at that time we had things in place where everything was being documented. Then today I can have a full documentary, you know. But I'm like, yeah, I mean, because normally in America I see people like I watched Travis Scott when he did his documentary Mama Can Fly or something like that, and he had like videos of when he was little and he was, you know, trying or making shots towards this whole music thing. So I really, that's the one thing that I really wish that I had. However, I'm still really like thankful for the journey, and you know, the fact that I can actually remember, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah,
most definitely. Thank you for saying that. So to kind of catch up to speed, right? Because your music career has been so phenomenal. You've reached so many heights in your career. I know I have to read them off. Honestly, I don't want to do it from memory. I'm going to read it from your EPK, okay? To make sure I say everything properly.
Right.
So I got to scroll quicker. So you're a 6-time nominee in Ghana's most coveted Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, 5-time 3 Music Awards nominee for Best Vocal Performance 2 years in a row. Also BET nominated. International artist, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But you've reached so much heights, millions of streams online. Like, tell us about that experience, and then I have a follow-up question, and I'm going to pass it on. So tell us about that. The listeners want to hear.
Okay, I'm sorry, the line was breaking a little bit, so can you please take the question again?
Sure. I have to bring the same excitement, and now I'm going to read it again, okay? I was saying, I think you want to test my reading skills, you know? I was saying, so you are a 6-time nominee for Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, and you're also a 5-times, you know, 3 Music Awards nominee for Best Vocal Performance 2 years in a row. Also nominated BET nominee as well. Like, tell us about all those experiences, millions of streams online. Like, tell us about that part of your career.
For awards, like I used to just watch it on TV, like watch all them artists being nominated, watching the awards, and I'm like, okay, one time I'm also gonna be like awarded you know, for doing something amazing. And I keep like, it's funny because every time I keep trying to like look into the mirror and rehearse what I'm gonna say when I go there. Sometimes I'm in the bathroom and I'm like, okay, thank you guys so much. First of all, I want to thank God for this award. You know, I want to thank God. I want to thank my family. Then I'll be like, no. Actually, want to. I always, you know,
I love that. Manifesting,
rehearsing and preparing myself, right? And funny enough, the first time I actually received an award, when I got to the stage, I was like so blank. I was like, oh no, you know.
All the times you rehearsed, you don't remember now, right?
Went so blank, you know, because 1 minute I want to say something, next minute I'm like, maybe not, maybe like I've had a lot of people say, maybe like something really, you know. So it's been just like it's been really beautiful, like seeing myself being nominated in all of these like prestigious awards ceremonies and all of that. Like for me, it's beautiful. But more so, I always really focus on the music and the marketing. I read marketing in uni, so it's like I'm very, very like keen, and I'm very much of an overthinker. So it's like I overthink almost everything, and you know, put out the record, and I'm like, okay, oh my god, 24 hours I haven't done no marketing thing, or I haven't done anything to market the music. So it's like I want to do a reel, I want to do a TikTok, or I want to, you know. So it's just been like a lot of these things, because I believe that truly for an artist to be awarded, I mean, we all know the gimmicks in the game. However, like for me, I always just feel like for an artist to be awarded, it must be something really like spectacular, like must be something really distinctive, you know, because it's gonna be like 1 million records released every year. So every time I always try to make my music or like something really like special about my music, why, you know, it should be nominated, if you see what I'm trying to say. So that has just been like my feeling about awards generally. Like I've always wanted to put in the work, and so when there was time for like awards, I'll sit back and be like, oh yeah, I'm sure we'll get some nominations over here or in this category, on, you know, because I actually know the work I put in. And so that I feel like, okay, now if I don't put in a work at all, I'm like, yeah, just let it be. I don't want to, you know, that's how I feel.
Yeah, thank you. No, you said some really key things. Like a lot of people, I feel like they look at the music industry and they think when they see the award shows and the red carpets and all that stuff, they're like, oh wow, everybody want to get to there, right? Everybody want to go to heaven, but they don't want to die, right? Like they don't want to put in the work to get to the awards, you know? So I'm really happy that an artist like you has literally shared that to the listeners and any future artists out there, for them to know that it's not an overnight thing. You have to put in the work to attain a certain level of success, right?
Right.
Yeah. So the last thing I wanted to say before I pass it over, how do you stay grounded? Like with the millions of streams, like I saw you on the red carpet in that fur coat. I was like, wow, I see you on the red carpet, yo. Adoring fans, like, and just talking to you is so nice because you're so down to earth, you know, you're grounded. Like how do you stay grounded in the midst of all the fame and the excitement going on?
I tried. I'm gonna be honest. Like I think that I'm just a man. I'm just human, and sometimes I'll lose it or whatever, you know. But at least I try. And the thing is, like, you know that this thing means the world to you when you're always thinking about it. You know, when you have it in your mind. So for me, I've always had this at the forefront of my mind. Like when I wake up in the morning, you know, so every little thing I do, like sometimes I feel like I overdo it because then I'm like, you know, I don't look too good to step out, or maybe like, you know, this is not the way the brand should be seen, or maybe no, I shouldn't be here, or like, and sometimes I actually like overdo it because then it's just my friends having a get together and I should just go there as like they're my friends. I'm already thinking about the brand. I'm already thinking about what should I say? Oh, what should I? Maybe this will not be too good for the public, like, you know. So
so much going on.
Even though I overthink it, I feel like that really truly helps me. Like it helps me to be grounded. And other than that, I believe I would have played a lot of nonsense, you know. So it's really important. And we also like that. And the thing is, we came from like a place of like nothing, you know, like no. People just come in a game and then they're discovered by like maybe Asha, and then boom, they're signed big label and
Yeah.
everything is like, okay, now voice training or this or that. This is us who are hustlers who have nothing, and it's like we wake up and we watch things on YouTube and we're like, okay, maybe I need to train my voice. Okay, how do I train? Or maybe so we just really did this on vibes. So it's gonna really like it means the world to me. So I'm like, I don't want to lose it at any point in time. So this is like something I'm really wrestling and fighting everybody for, because the moment I lose it, there's no recovery. That's how you feel as a hustler. You're like, I can't go back to zero, because if you go back to zero, there's truly no recovery. So I believe that the idea of knowing that and knowing the way I got here keeps me grounded.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing, CAMIDOH.
Yeah.
Ron?
Hey, Petra, you talked about all of the success that come up. A question I have, though, is I know, as all of us who are in the music industry know, there are many challenges. So what have you found the most challenging over your career here so far? What hasn't gone so well for you? And what do you do when you get into these, I'll say, lumps or stumps that we all find ourselves in, going, how am I going to get out of this one? So what's been most challenging for you?
I guess the most challenging thing would have been, finances, like, the funding to support the music, because before you are like just an underground artist, nobody knows you like that, and you're really just trying to make your way. So it's like, it's okay to just shoot something with an iPhone 5 and put on the internet, but like when you get into the game and like people know you, the brand is very much considered in everything you do. So it's like, now you need the fans, you need the huge amounts of money to be able to shoot like good videos. And the fact that you are independent, like everything is like, dependent on you or your team, your little team. So that I believe that would have been like the greatest, or is still, I guess, because then at the end of the day, it's never enough, funding, I guess. And because when funding is there, like every other thing is kind of like sorted, so I believe that the funding would have been like, the greatest challenge that I have faced, and probably still facing, on the journey. But we keep putting in like, efforts, and we're making it happen some way, somehow.
Yes. Exactly. So what are you hoping to do in the future that you haven't done yet? Other than winning awards, say, what would you? What are some of your goals in the future here? What do you want to do?
It's a lot. Like I wanna tour. I wanna be on tour. Like I really want to be on tour, not just like big concerts, but also like intimate concerts. Like, I want to do the big stages. At the same time, I want to do like the small rooms, like with just 50 people, sit there with an acoustic guitar. Because I remember a time in my life where I had to do that. I described that time as like my artist development stage, where I approached this music director and a band leader, and he saw the passion. He saw that I had so much drive. He said, okay, there's this sport called front back in Ghana. They love live music, so they always give the opportunity to like young artists to come there and sing, and he happens to be like the one selecting artists. So if I'm down and I'm willing to learn a couple songs and do some covers, then we can be on that journey. So it's like every Saturday and Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we will go to like these places and other places as well, and he's just like playing the acoustic guitar and I'm singing, so that like kind of like it's the kind of things I did to kind of like help shape myself. Do you know what I'm saying? So I would definitely want to do stuff like that with people. Like it was a very beautiful moment for me doing that and catching fans. Like every day when I went, I would attract a whole set of like people that will say, oh, you are really talented. Like, by the way, what's your idea? Or how can I follow you? How can I help you? Or take this little tool. So I believe that I want to like go back to that feeling where I'm singing. Now I'm like a superstar, and I'm still back to this like, room full of like people who just very intimate, sing to them and let them have a feel of you directly. and then also do the big stages. I want to make like albums. Like I feel like I haven't even dropped an album yet. I keep wanting to drop albums, and then sometimes I'll be like, nah, this is not it. So I trash it, and I'm like, let's make it a mixtape, and I just put it out. You know, I've done a bunch, but I want to do albums. I want to do world albums, world standard albums, and influence the world. Like this, I want to do collaborations with like Bruno Mars. I want to do collaborations with Chris Brown, Justin Bieber. Like I want to. There's a whole lot that I want to do. Like I can't even imagine the number of albums I want to make before I give up the baton. Like there's so much I want to. Like I really want to squeeze all the water out of like this music because I love it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm the type of person, when I love something, it's got it like I'm in the face every time. So I guess it's just a limitless dreams that I have, but I definitely want to like be able to like do many albums and tour the world and touch lives. Aside of the music as well, like, you know, invest in like companies that will help to touch lives, like solve problems for people on the streets here and there. Like there's a whole bunch that I want to do, and I believe that by the grace of God I'm going to be able to do it.
Amen.
Yeah,
We believe in you too, CAMIDOH. We believe in you too.
Thank you.
For sure. I just want to say I love your passion. I love it, and I feel it's what the industry needs. The listeners need, the fans need it, you know, and you speak this through your heart and authenticity, and it's genuine. So yeah, we believe in you, man. Just keep it going, eh?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you know, you touched on something. I think Chris Brown is a source of inspiration for a lot of artists who have come through this program.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of him with everything that he's been through, and people looking up to him that, oh, I want to sing like him. I want to do certain things like him. I mean, he's an inspiration. We may have to try and get him on this station. But at the same time, my question to you would be, what advice would you give startups, people who are trying to get in? Because the journey, you didn't just become CAMIDOH. You had to go through, you had to crawl before you walked. Now you are walking. So the question, what advice would you give to the startups? Because nothing came easy. So what would you advise them? I'm gonna address that, but I want to talk about Chris Brown. Special shout out to Chris Brown. May God bless him. I was in a car with my friend the other day, and I was arguing. Like I was like, okay, in fact, I was actually like mad about it. I'm like, you know, Chris is really and truly like, he should be like celebrated as the MJ of our time, right?
For sure.
And I don't know why he's not getting his flowers, and I don't know why the world decides to just dwell on certain things. But guess what? Like I see him still dropping albums. I see him still, like the last time before like 11 when he dropped 11, I think the last album or the one before that one, I was doing my national service, and I'm always in this like trot like in a bus going to work every time, and I'm listening, and the album has about 40 songs. You know what I'm saying? It has about like 40 songs. Like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Cause just evening before I came out, I was in my studio and I made a record. You know, it's a cover which I would love to play to you guys anyways. But the idea is that if you truly love something and you are given the opportunity, like, bro, like you're gonna be so stupid to like really let it slide. You're gonna be so like, I'm sure God is not gonna be happy, you know, knowing that you were so hungry for this thing and then it's been given to you and then you don't make the best out of it. I love Chris Brown for that. You know, in as much as the world is not really like celebrating him, he's having a time of his life. He's really doing what he loves and he keeps going. If you're ready, you join the bus. If you're not ready, sleep at home. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I'll say, and that is my drive. Like I've begged for opportunities. I've asked, I've knocked so many doors, and so now that I have the opportunity, there's nothing I want to do to ruin it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing I want to do to ruin it. So one thing I'll say to people is that be ready before you ask for opportunities, because it's definitely going to come. And when it comes, what you make of it is what the world is going to celebrate, you know? So yeah, I love me hardworking artists. I love to see that. And that's what I would say.
Yeah, he has done a lot, and I'm so happy where African music is right now. And I think he's contributed too. I quite remember the first time he was in Ghana. I think he was smoking weed on the stage, and now there was a lot of things that, and it became so big. But apart from that, he has contributed tremendously to African music. And to follow up, before we even go one more round, my question is that you've like sugarcane.
Right.
Oh my God, I call you the
Yeah.
sugar. That
That was good.
That Artiste man. Yes, that Artiste man. Yes, good song, great song.
Thank
And
you.
how did you get my brothers in Nigeria to be featured on the album? Great song, Mayokun and
Yeah.
How did it happen?
Yeah, there was King Promise as well. He's from Ghana.
Yes, King.
And
Yeah, King Promise. Yes.
Dark from the UK. Well, everything really truly just was organic. My marketing background just like, pinched me and said you should cross over. So when we dropped the record was doing really well, like the whole of Ghana was like, it was banging. And then I said, okay, I want to do a remix. Everyone on social media was like, nah, the song is perfect. Let it be just the way it is. I'm like, you don't know what I can do to this record. Just quiet until I drop it. If it's not fire, tell me. And it's not even about being a hit. The music is the music I'm talking about. If the music is not quality, if it's not dope enough, then you can hoot at me. But for now, I'm gonna do it. So I wanted to cross over, and I was speaking to my team about like doing something with a Nigerian artist. However, I wanted an artist that connected with the record and really wanted to do the record. Like, this is my child. If I'm gonna let you have her, then you gotta be like ready. You actually love her and you want to marry her and be there for her for the rest of
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like and I'm grateful to God that Mayo Kun loved the record and he said, yes, I'll do it. King Promise, he reached out and said, yeah, let's do it. Daco same way sent me a verse. It's like through my friend, a mutual friend, and said, look, this is one of my favorite records. If they're doing a remix, I might as well just be on it. So she sends through the verse and I listened to all the verses, and I had a master hand on like the whole arrangement and mix and everything, because like I was there with my engineer and I made sure that I was out, like I'm a creator, and it's like I loved what was coming, or what I was hearing. It was good to come out to the world. And we put it to the world. And I was really like, not even worried, but I was really just like, I knew that people would love the record. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how we got everything. It had to be really organic, and that's what I started.
Honestly, it's one heck of a track that we've been playing it here 24/7. And I mean, I love your music. As an artist, I love the way you approach things. I was going to ask this last question, which Ron always likes to ask. How do you write it? Is it the lyrics first or the music first?
Yes, definitely the melodies, like the music first. Like definitely, like I have a couple songs that I've done which is lyrics first before the music, but lately it's just straight from the dome. Like I just walk in and play me some beats, like, okay, that one, load it up, let's go. And then I'm just standing there in the booth or right there holding the mic, and whatever is coming to my head, however I'm feeling is what I'm approaching it with. So I lay down the melodies, and then listen back, correct some of the melodies, or like, okay, cool, this is how I want the arrangement to be. Boom. And sometimes, mostly, I will just start flowing. Like once I lay a melody that I'm loving it, I start flowing like that, and then I write the story, and then now listen to that, like the whole song, and I'm like, okay, I want to change this, or I want to change that. That's just how I make my music.
I mean, it's so great. It's a very great track. The video and everything, you know what? Perfect. As an artist, you have a fan here. You see,
a couple of fans.
That's right. We created this station just to highlight what is best, and we are so happy where we are right now. And I'm so proud of you. Continue to do what you're doing, and you have our back. This is your radio station.
Thank you.
Don't you forget about it. Anytime you want to drop something, hey, we are here. You know what?
Thank you.
Toronto would like to welcome you. We'll talk off air, and I will see what we can do. And before we go, Ron, you have any parting words or anything for CAMIDOH, please?
I'd say it's a pleasure having you on the show. It's great talking to musicians who are not only at a certain stage, but are always inspiring to do more with their life and their career, as all of us try to do. So I would say that it's just in a statement. It's been nice having people who are into doing it as much as you. I guess from my stage, as about the writing process, yeah, I often ask that question about what you do first. You've answered that. So I just pass it on to Petra and say, Petra, if you've got other things that you want to close up with, then go for it. But it's been a pleasure. That's been awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I said a little bit earlier, but as I said, CAMIDOH, I think you're a phenomenal artist. You're super talented, great producer. I think you're also a wonderful person. And I think that's what the music industry needs more of, wonderful people. Because wonderful people make great music, and they also inspire others. And you're an inspiration. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to be graced with your presence today. And yeah, we're always going to be supporting you here at Love Bay.
Bless you,
Yes.
guys. And
there's one thing, CAMIDOH, there's one thing that I didn't ask.
Yeah, go on.
I understand you have signed a deal. Was it with the Empire? I think.
No. I'm still an independent artist. Like, I'm still.
Woohoo! That's
Good.
exactly what we've been talking
Good
about.
for you.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yes.
We were talking about that earlier, independent versus signed artists. And that's actually going to be one of my questions. Like, what's your experience between like being an independent artist versus being a signed artist? So
I'm never against like artists signing to labels. I'm really truly never against it. What I really look out for is like the artist having a team that really like believe in his vision. If the label is, you know, obviously when you sign to labels, you have project managers and all of that. If your team is together, if your team really know, you know, they know what you're about and they're hands on, that's the end of it. Like at the end of the day, we all need the extra push that we can get from the labels. It is when I believe it is when you don't really know what you're about and your team and all of that, and it's like it's all scattered. Then the label, it's like you walk in a room with vision. No one can tell you to sit here and you're gonna sit there. No one can give you this food, and you know that. Look, per my vision, I don't have to eat this. No one can force it down your throat. You know. So I believe artists should really like be educated as in what their dream or their vision is, what their scope of like, you know, music is. So it's like when you have a team or when you are being offered something and it's not what you need at that particular time, you can actually reject it. You know, believe is important because by what is happening right now in the world, we need that extra push that's gonna, because I believe people have amazing records as Sugarcane, but it's like we need that push to come to the front so people can actually hear us, you know. Other than that, like, you know, people like me can just be sleeping and my music is getting to the world, you know what I'm saying? But I believe that, so yeah, at some point it's okay to be independent, and at some point it's okay to be signed.
Very well said.
Wonderful answer.
Very
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You see, I like your confidence, and I like, you see, you've been through the trenches. It's like some of us, we have bruises and all those kind of stuff. At the end of the day, we've won awards, we've done all these kind of stuff, but then you become so happy, and then sometimes you sit back and say, what? Is that me? I was struggling with that and that kind of stuff. We've done it all, right? But that confidence, continue to do that, continue to provide great music, continue to make people laugh, continue to make people cry, continue to do what you're doing, because you know what? At the end of the day, as artists, we make the whole world go around. Anything that we do, everything that we do as artists, we produce. And then, you know, from where I sit, kudos to you. And before we go, how can and where can people get your music?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yes, my music is available on all digital streaming platforms. Matter of fact, my latest song is called NLF.
Yes.
That says nothing lasts forever. It's an amazing record that I made out of like a real life experience, and I would love for people to check it out. So on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Music, AudioMac, Boomplay, and SoundCloud, everywhere that you can find music, my music is there. So CAMIDOH NLF into bracket Breakfast is out on all platforms, and I love people to go check it out.
Yes,
Thank you.
I played it before you came. Oh yes.
Thank you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, folks, what is good has come to an end. But you know what? We are going to get him back. And because, like I said, this is radio station. This is your radio station. This is Lovely Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your #1 African Caribbean online radio. Until we meet again next week, hey, on behalf of myself, the production team, PTRAA RON, we say thank you for listening. Thank you for getting us into your space. We appreciate that. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other.